Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at Premiere Pro. So I recently switched over to Premiere Pro from DaVinci Resolve. So I have the full suite of Adobe Creative Cloud applications. And with Premiere Pro's beta release, the recent beta release, we now have the possibility of using NVENC encoding. So we can use our GPU power to actually encode our video H.264. And that way it'll be a lot faster in order to render our videos. So normally I would use my i7-8700K, render my video, but now with the opportunity to use NVENC, we can use the power of the RTX 2060 Founders Edition card to try and get the most performance out of Adobe Premiere. So our 2060 Founders Edition is sitting right at stock factory settings, and our 8700K is overclocked to 4.7 gigahertz on all cores. So first we'll take a look at Premiere Pro, not the beta edition, just the current version of Premiere Pro, and we will open a project and encode H.264 using our 8700K. So 8700K, for those of you who don't know, is a 6-core 12-thread CPU. Really good performance, but in terms of some of the newer CPUs like the 9900K, 8-core 16 threads, or some of AMD stuff with the 3900X and 3950X, you're going to see a lot better performance on those CPUs because they do have the higher core and thread count. But in terms of speed, our 8700K is sitting really, really good at 4.7 gigahertz. So now we have our project loaded up. So we're going to hit Control M to export. So we're going to use H.264, and we're going to use YouTube 1080p. If we scroll down in the video settings, you'll see that software encoding is our only option. So we have no option for hardware encoding. I'm going to go ahead and export, play through this pretty fast, but just give you guys an overall idea of how long it takes to render the video using pure software encoding on our CPU. And there we go, guys. So we just finished. It took around 6 or 7 minutes to completely encode that video using solely our 8700K. You did see that there were some spikes in the GPU usage, but again, I'm screen recording this, so that is what's utilizing pretty much all of that GPU utilization. There were some small spikes, but most of that is coming from the screen recording itself. So we might also see a slight decrease in performance when we go to our NVENC encoding using Premiere Pro Beta, but we should be pretty good. So I'll close out of Premiere Pro. And now when we take a look inside of our Creative Cloud desktop application, you go down to Beta Apps, you will see Premiere Pro Beta, and you can go and install that, and that will install the Premiere Beta application. So now if we open Premiere Pro Beta, I will open up the same exact project, and we will go ahead and encode with hardware encoding. So let me open up the same project. So before we get to actually exporting the video and encoding, just to show you guys the new features. So here we now have support for H.264, HEVC, NVIDIA hardware encoding, so NVENC encoding with our particular NVIDIA graphics cards, and also the opportunity to use hardware encoding with AMD graphics cards as well. So this is a huge step forward, huge milestone for Adobe Premiere Pro. Should give us a lot better performance improvements when exporting and rendering videos. So now we'll get into the actual render of the video using hardware encoding. here we go. We have the same exact project opened up in Premiere Pro Beta. And I will again go ahead and go to the export functionality. And now you can see that we are automatically pegged at hardware encoding. I'll scroll down and show you guys that yet again in the video settings. But just to show you guys the same exact settings, except for hardware encoding. So 16 megabit per second, still YouTube 1080p Full HD and H.264 encoding. And again, if I scroll down, now we have the option to choose between hardware encoding and software encoding. So we're gonna leave it at hardware encoding, and we are going to export. So now if I go ahead and bring over Task Manager, you can see 77% utilization on the GPU. And we were at pegged at pretty much 100% the whole time on the 8700K when we were using software encoding, and now we're using the GPU pretty heavily for hardware encoding, and you can see a huge decrease in the time. Originally it was pegged at around 5-6 minutes when we were using software encoding, and now we're down to right around 1:45 seconds. So almost 3 times quicker. Again, we'll see how quickly it actually goes. Premiere Pro is notorious for not giving you the most accurate loading times, but we get the opportunity to now use pure hardware to encode our video. And it gives a lot of benefits. As you can see, much quicker render times, and should give you slightly better quality when it comes to your video renders. And right now we're using pretty limited hardware with the RTX 2060, still plenty good for this. But if you had something slightly better like a 2070 Super, 2080 Super, some of the newer AMD cards like the 5700 XT, plus at the end of the year with the RTX 3000 series GPUs coming out, you're going to see even more performance with those higher CUDA core count cards. So you can use NVENC encoding within Premiere Pro now with the beta. So I'll let this finish up, do a quick comparison of the times, but hopefully this gave you a good idea of what you're going to see in the newest version of Premiere Pro when that releases, with the opportunity to use hardware encoding with NVENC. So there we go, guys. Now that we have the opportunity just to get a quick idea as to what NVENC encoding will bring to Premiere Pro, you can see around 3 times as fast with my particular hardware, again an 8700K and an RTX 2060. Depending on what hardware you have in your system, you might see some different performance results, but overall a lot faster with the opportunity to use hardware encoding. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Any questions, any comments, leave those below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.